Okay, so our first main topic then, we are going to be looking at organizational features, what they are and how they are used. So the topics of this session then are to look at what an organizational feature is. We're then going to look at the different types of organizational features, and this is really the main thing that we need for functional skills level 1 and level 2, is just to be able to identify what an organizational feature is and state where it is. The main question that we get asked is to provide a piece of information. We then provide that, and then we're asked which organizational feature helped us find it. We then reference that, and those are the marks. And we will look at exam style questions as well. We will mention a bit more about them, why certain features are used, the advantages of them, the disadvantages of them, and that's a little bit more in-depth than what we need for our actual exam. But again, extra knowledge is always useful. We're then going to have a look at the exam style questions, so you can clearly see what this looks like in the actual exam. And we've got a little bit of a quiz and a little bit of an activity as well to help us with that. And the homework will just be to complete the assessment for this on the Google Classroom. So first of all then, what is an organizational feature? Although it sounds like a very fancy word, it's actually a very, very simple idea. An organizational feature are structures within a text. So then within the body of the text, they could be in an article, in like a magazine article, something like this. And it helps the reader navigate around the information, finding what they need more easily. You will have seen these lots and lots and lots of times before, but you probably just haven't actually paid much attention to them. Again, this is in relation to mainly kind of articles that we see, but also it does apply for the use of the internet as well. If you were to, look at a website, there's lots of things there that help you navigate. You have different tabs at the top. You have a click here button to get to another page. You have subheadings and extra things there. So there's lots of little bits going on, and we don't really give them too much thought. So some organizational features that we have then, and this is not all of them, but these are the majority. So we have statistics, diagrams, tables, and text boxes. We have pictures as well. So if you imagine an article, something that isn't actually like a style in the writing, there might be a picture included in there. We tend to have headings as well to tell us what the article is about. Subheadings to help us navigate a bit quicker there as well to find specific information. Bullet points and numbered lists. So it is important to distinguish the difference between these, and we will look at them a bit more in detail. But both of these are also organizational features. Like I've already mentioned, our website headings, sidebars, tabs, and links. Indexes. So we do need to be aware of indexes and how to use them. This is something that is on the curriculum, but doesn't really appear. I've never seen there be a question where it's kind of asked you to navigate or use an index, but we will make sure that we're happy with how to do that, because again, it might help us in the future if we go on to higher level courses. Use of symbols within articles, menus, things like this. And finally, we need to be aware of what a footnote is as well. And this is the only one that can only appear for level 2. So for level 1 and level 2 learners, you could be on the lookout for any of these organizational features and have to identify them. And again, we will look at the differences in questions and how you are asked this. The great thing with the reading exam is they always stick to the same structure, which means for us, a lot of our course is just remembering the structure, getting used to how the questions are asked, and then we can clearly give the information that is required. One thing to be careful and think about. In the exam, you may be asked to find organizational features and language features. You will be asked to find both of these. We've just got to remember the difference between the two, because they can be a little bit confusing. Just remember, an organizational feature, if you're organizing stuff, you're moving it around, you're putting it in a certain order. An organizational feature is to do with the layout or the style of the text or the font. It is not to do with the content of the language. A language feature is the specific wording that's been used. So it's how you structure your sentences, how you might use strong language in places, how you might use a question in a certain place. So language features are about the content of the actual language used in the writing, Organizational features are the structure on the page. How is it laid out on there? Okay, so first of all, we've got some text features then. These are organizational features. And we can do quite a lot with text to highlight the importance of certain information. And mainly with all of our organizational features, it's to help people navigate and to make certain information stand out that we want to grab people's attention. So some text features that you might see can include all capitals. So if something is written in all capital letters, obviously it's not grammatically correct. It has been done to stand out to you. If something has been written in a different colored font, then that again is a organizational text feature. A different font style. So it might be, you know, when someone is writing, I know something from a scary character's point of view, that they use a slightly spookier looking font. Use of bold font to again get information kind of highlighted and to stand out. The use of italics tends to be used when giving reference to specific names. You will see this a lot if you are ever looking into any kind of used a lot in kind of like biology in regards to like the actual proper official kind of like taxonomies of things. So when you're naming specific groups, you will use the italics for its actual official name. Underlining as well to help things stand out, and finally different font size. So I'm sure you've seen all these before, but it's just kind of noticing if these things have been used, why are they using them? It is always to make something stand out or something to be a bit more interesting. So it's going to try and catch your attention there. So our first organizational feature then are our text features, and this is what they are. So next we've got titles and headings then. So a heading is also called a title. You know, they are, again, English. We have a lot of synonyms. So titles and headings are the same. Appears at the start of a text and tells the reader what it's about. So again, you're only going to see this in an article or a kind of a formal publish or like an academic publishing. You're not going to, although you will see a heading really in an email and things like that, it's obviously in a separate kind of area. You wouldn't put a heading or a title on like a letter to a friend, for instance. A subheading then is a heading of a certain section. So again, you do see this in articles and again, academic reading. And the idea here is it tells you what the article is about, the main heading or title, and the subheading just tells you where to look for information and how to find it a little bit quicker. So again, this is quite small. I accept some people might not be able to see this, but we've got a food plan guidance for communities and groups here. So we can see the actual heading there. And then what we can also see is subheadings. So why should you read this? And who is it for? So a quick scan, you can go, oh, okay, let's think about groups here. I'll look for who the guidance is for because it might not apply for me. It saves you then reading the extra information there. Current, yeah, that's actually a really, sorry, Monica, I read your surname first. Yeah, that's a really, really good idea. Yeah, leaflets are another example of where this could be used. So yeah, leaflets, kind of handouts, takeaway menus. There's another one as well. They constantly using like different kind of organizational features to get you. And again, headings and subheadings are our next organizational feature. But thank you, that's a really, really good input there. Okay, so pictures and images then. So text may include images, that could be drawings or actual photographs to illustrate the content. A label underneath these is called a caption. Again, we're not going to be asked that, but it is useful to know. So like diagrams and charts, they are visual aids. They don't really have any text there, but they're kind of used to help get a bit more of a meaning across or to, you know, essentially paint the picture of what's happening a bit more. Although you can highlight what these are straight away, so you can see the picture and you can go, well, that is a organizational feature because it is a picture, it's not text, and it's been added there to make it stand out and to draw my attention in. You may also be asked to infer the meaning of an image. So simply put, that just basically means you might have to write a little bit about what the picture is showing or telling you. Again, there's that kind of old kind of proverb of the idea of, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. A lot of the time it is. You know, if there's a picture there, it really can show you a lot more than trying to describe everything in a certain scene or idea. Inferred meaning, though, there are some questions that do frequently pop up regarding this for level 1 learners, and we will look at them in just a little bit. So you might get a picture like this, and there'd probably be obviously, so that's our photograph there. There might be a caption underneath it. So the caption tends to kind of explain what's going on in the picture itself. So, it was a hot day for the marathon. And what you can see here is there's a lot of information there. So this tells you, essentially from a glance here, you can see that a lot of people have turned out for it. That it looks like it's quite challenging, and quite a lot of the people there look very, very tired. When you're looking at the inferred meaning then, so obviously looking at the picture, it helps us give an idea of what the event was like. But also, if we wanted to look at inferred meanings, from this, we could say that there is no set uniform. You can wear whatever you want when you're running. You can have your t-shirt off if you want to. You can have a tank top. You can wear this. We can also see or tell that people are identified by running numbers. So again, you can see here, certain people have got the numbers attached. This guy, I think, has lost his. You could also say, well, I can tell straight away that it's a mixed gender event. I can see males and females running there. You could also say it's a mixed class event, things like this. So again, there's a lot of extra stuff that you could get from that. In regards to inferred meaning, we will look at this a bit more, but when you see what the exam style questions look like, you'll be quite happy and quite content with how to answer these. So, statistics, diagrams, charts, and tables. So these are often used to give numerical data in a small space. So they do have a key or a label to help us understand the information, and they can help really kind of give clarity to like difficult and complex ideas, and they can do that very, very quickly. So if we had something like this, let's say we're reading an article about the number of cars that were sold in 2017. Now, the use of this graph is incredibly useful. It is an organizational feature because it has been put there to draw our attention to it. But again, that tells us a lot of information very, very quickly. I can immediately glance at that and see, okay, the number of cars is going down over these months. Then there is a little spike as it comes up a little bit, but then it continues to drop. If you imagine trying to write this information out, it would be very, very difficult. You could say, in January there were 750 cars, but in February it had dropped to 600 cars. And then it continued to drop through March. And then it slowed down a little bit as it went from March to April, but it was still continuing to drop. It then went, do you know what I mean? It's a very, very difficult thing to get all this information across. So our next one here then, so this is a table. And again, this is just a very quick way to summarize and show us some information. Normally, what we will do is, we would take this data here, or this raw, relatively raw data in its table, and we could put that into a graph. And it's easier to see visually and quickly if it is in a graph, but sometimes we will use a table instead. In this case here, then, so it's the phone sales for last week. We've got these different phones here, and then we've got the number sold. What we can then do, we can glance at that quickly, and we can immediately know what phone was the most popular, what phone was the least popular, and it gives us an idea of the number of these sales that are going on in this shop, or whatever the article, leaflet, pamphlet might be about. Again, if you imagined this just being written out, that would be a difficult thing to say. It would have to say, we had a lot of sales in the shop last week. We sold 35 Nokia Zs. We sold 23 Sony T1s. We sold 19 Motorola. Again, it's going to be very, very long and boring to read. So we want to captivate, and we want people to immediately see what we're talking about. So they're good for showing the amounts of things. We then have a pie chart, and these are really, really good for showing percentages. So showing percentages or kind of fractions of things, so parts of a whole thing. So here you can see, well, this is book sales in 2017, and it shows you the amount of sales in each month. Now, you could argue, I mean, obviously here it shows the number of sales as well, and we can see a link over time. This is just showing the pure raw amount of how many were sold there. And again, it gives you a quick way to compare. With percentages as well, they tend to work very, very well with pie charts. Pie charts in themselves are circles, so they're out of 360 degrees. Any percentages we use are always out of 100. So they do link in very, very nicely in regards to a visual way of showing a percentage. And again, if you want to just list different percentages, again, it's going to look a little bit boring and a little bit tedious there. So pie charts, very good for showing percentages there, or parts of a whole. Charts and tables, well, graphs and charts, I should say, and tables are very, very good for showing us total amounts. So moving on then, we have our lists, and these are very important. These pop up very frequently as a organizational feature that we are asked to kind of talk about. So we've got, first of all, we've got ingredients here at the top. So for whatever this is, it serves 6 people. And what we've got here is what are called bullet points. So again, looks like a little bullet hole has been put there. So bullet points are used to draw attention to important information within a document so that the reader can identify the key issues and facts very, very quickly. So here you can see the ingredients that are being used here. It serves 6 people. It needs 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 4 large carrots, peeled, roughly chopped, half an onion. So it's just telling you, it's just, okay, you need this, you need this, you need this. There's no formal kind of flow to it. There's no need for grammar. There's no need to make this into sentences or complex sentences. If it was written like, you will require 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 4 large carrots that are peeled roughly and then chopped. You will then need half an onion that has been roughly chopped as well. Following this, you will require, you don't need all these conjoining words because we just need to know what I need and when. So this is a bullet pointed list. We then have a slightly different type of list, and we do need to be able to remember the differences here. And this is a numbered list. So a numbered list, as we can see here, it's pretty much doing the exact same. It's breaking things down and not really conjoining the sentences. But numbered lists tend to be used when it's items in order or to highlight the importance of something. So the recipe here, as we can see, it has bullet points at the top there. And then we have our numbered list, which explains our method and how to actually cook this. So numbered lists and bullet points, another 2 of our organizational features. Moving on then, we have our symbols. So symbols can be used to kind of provide extra information quite quickly and very, very easily. They stand out. And again, we do see them in a lot of places. We might see them. It tends to be to give information quickly and easily without having to repeat the same information over and over again. So if we were to look at, let's say, a lunchtime menu like this, if I saw some of these symbols, even now, I haven't been given a key. Normally, there is always a key, and it will tell you exactly what they mean. This tends to be on the first page, or maybe on the page at the back, and it will just say, the key for the information is on the back page, or it'll be on the front page, and it will tell you what the little drawings mean. It's a lot easier to put that little drawing in. It makes it stand out and look a bit nicer. And again, sometimes, if you are looking at a menu, you've got maybe 10 to 15 things on there. If they then have to put in brackets, may contain shellfish on every single thing, it might all blur together. If you imagine, if you are someone who maybe has dyslexia and might struggle to read this kind of block of information, and you're reading through it, you might miss that information and you might be allergic to shellfish. It could be quite dangerous. So in regards to sense, so little shellfish there, and that can tell us that it means containing shellfish. With our V here, like capital V, that could mean vegetarian. VG could mean vegan. And our last one here then could mean it contains nuts. So there will be different symbols used, but they will always be explained. It is really for the to aid with repetition. You don't want to be, like I mentioned, constantly writing has shellfish in it, has shellfish in it. That little picture is quite a nice, elegant way of saying it contains this and this. Sometimes people just use like a little coloured dot, something to that effect as well. Okay, so headings, sidebars, and tabs and links. So we don't always think about it because normally we think about having a written piece in front of us or an article. We can be asked to kind of take information from an article that has been written and published on a website as well. So it's important to just kind of know that organizational features do appear on these as well and just know roughly what they are. They're quite nice and straightforward though. I mean, if we look here, we can already see a lot of the organizational features that we've talked about. We've got a main heading here, which tells us what this website or what this page is about. We've then got a link here. So we can click on this link and that will move us to another page. So if we are interested and we would require more information, we can click on that link and it will take us to the next kind of page, and it will take us to a specific page that is going to give us more information there. Oh, put me jumper back on, it's a bit chilly. Okay, if we look at kind of other information then, so we've got the tabs here. So the tabs could be at the top of the page. They could be kind of hyperlinks down the side of it as well. And these obviously help us to navigate and move towards other pages as well. They just make it easier. We don't have to, click through every single page to find where we're going. It's almost like a contents page at the beginning of a book or something to that effect. So the tabs are often listed in the top or sidebar. So we've got a top bar there. It could be a sidebar as well, where it just has the information of where to go. And they just help to make it easier to navigate. There's also, as you can see, there's some images, which again help to make it stand out and make it an attractive thing to look at. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at using an index then. So an index is usually located at the back of a book, and it is similar to the chapters in the front, but it's usually used for more specific ideas. So you can use it for finding essential details, and it's alphabetized so that it will look something like this. So, I might be able to look at the contents at the beginning of my book. So say if it's, in this case, kind of like a cooking book or like a recipe book, I can look at the beginning, I can be, okay, recipe for this, recipe for this, recipe for this. But if I wanted a very quick way of finding this, I can skip to the back and go, I was looking for how to make duck sauce. Or I wanted some more information about duck sauce. If I then flip to the back, I can skim down duck sauce, and then I can see what pages it appears on. I haven't seen any questions regarding the use of indexes with the Edexcel exam board. It doesn't mean they won't pop up, but again, like I said, they have got this set structure. They have been using it all the time since they have re-released the new curriculum, and the index doesn't really seem to pop up on there very often. Well, I've never seen it, but it is always useful to know a bit of extra information in how these things work. So in this case here, what we can see is if something is separated with a comma, that means that it appears on multiple pages. So duck sauce appears on page 89 and on page 211. If it's just mentioned once, it just shows the exact location of that information. So here, eggs Florentine only appears on page 98. That is the only page it talks about. Obviously, the P here stands for page. The only other thing to kind of comment on here is, I mean, what you might have noticed is you've got here, so page 34, yeah, page 89, comma, page 211. So this means it's on this page and this page. With the Dansum Jam here, you can notice there's a little hyphen, and that means it's on page 177 up to page 178. It could say the whole number as well. And that could be a longer reference there. It could be page 177 hyphen 182. So that would mean that the information would be from page 177 all the way to page 182. It'd let you know where to start and where that information ends. Okay, so our level 2 topic then, which we might be asked about, is about footnotes and references. In regards to, I mean, there are two different ways that these can be used, and we're going to look at both of them. But essentially, a footnote is what's called a superscript. So it looks like this. It's this little one, or maybe it could be a letter or maybe a symbol that is above a word and quite small in a body of text. Can be used for more than one reason. It can be used as a form of citation in certain citation styles. And for higher level kind of study, this is a style of citation or referencing. So we don't need to use this for our functional skills course. That's not the reason that we will be looking at it, but it is something that is important to remember moving forward. A lot of people that are doing this course are trying to get their level 2 qualifications to then go on and do a level 3 course. With level 3 qualifications, you will need to reference. You will need to give information And there are different ways of doing this. There is obviously the Harvard referencing, which is one type. I can't remember many of the others now. It's been a while since I've done any academic like writing. But Harvard referencing in itself uses this type of citation. There will be some information in a text, and then there'll be a little one there. And that one will then take you down to maybe the bottom of the page, and it will say where that information came from. So that's the link. The reason it's used is to not disturb the flow of what's being said. So there'll be information, and there's a little one there. So maybe it will be like, in 1984, the wrestling championship was won by John Deaver. And then there might be a little one there, and then it might carry on to say about, other information. The little one just says, when we look down, it will say where that fact has come from, where that information has come from. So it's a type of citation. It's a way of kind of saying where the information came from, and it's also giving a reference as well. And when you're doing your higher level qualifications, you will need to use referencing, and there is different styles for this. Some people want the little citation mark here. For some people, they will want a bracket, and then they'll want the date and the first name of the author. But again, when you get into that, you can obviously discuss that with the education provider that you're working with. The main reason that we see it in functional skills is in regards to a provider of additional information. So it is still acting as a reference, it's just not in a very academically formal manner. So we do see this type a lot with the functional skills questions. So if you are going to be asked about a footnote or a reference, then this is how it will appear. And again, it is just going to be in the body of the text, and then there'll be a little one there. When we look at the bottom, there'll be the little one, and it will say where the information's come from. So the question that you get might be, how many hours a week do people juggle? When you then look in the actual text, you can look through and it will say, people have been known to juggle for 10 hours a week, and then there's a little one there. So you'll say 10 hours a week, and you'll get the mark. It will then say which reference feature helped you, which organizational feature helped you find this, or who is responsible for doing or for talking about the juggling. You can then look at the one, look down, and it will say the World Institute for Jugglers, or whoever the published author might have been for the paper who gave you that information. You can then reference that and say that it was a footnote that helped you find it. So if we need to know if it is a footnote or it is a reference. So again, like I was saying, the main advantage for this is that you don't have to distract the reader with all this extra information. You don't have to kind of write something and then say exactly who said it and where it came from. Carry on exactly who said it and where it came from. You can just write all of the information that you want. And then if people want to delve deeper into it and go, well, where's that information come from? Is that a fact? Oh, I'd like to read a bit more about this kind of information. Then you provide the information for them. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a quick quiz then to see how we are doing in regards to our understanding about these organizational features. Okay, so first of all then, why might we need a sidebar then? And again, if you can, if you want to just kind of type the answer and kind of send it over to just me, that'd be absolutely perfect. So what reason is there for having sidebars on on like an internet kind of page? So again, when you click on the chat, you can just highlight to send it just to me, and then it kind of keeps the answer away from everyone else as well. So it means that if you can submit an answer, I can then say, yes, that's correct, without giving the full answer away for anyone else. So any ideas then? Why might we use a sidebar? Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, great stuff, guys. Yeah, so Monica, that's spot on. Anna as well. Yeah, no problems at all there. So actually worded better than what I could word it, I think. So yeah, they act as like a navigation key there. I like that as a saying. It is a quick way to navigate through the website, and it helps to kind of move us around there. So similarly then, why might we need symbols? Why would we have symbols there? What's the benefit of having these? Anna, yeah, that's a really good one there. So yeah, the idea of if someone might be dyslexic or struggles to read, actually having a symbol there can actually quickly infer a meaning. Monica, brilliant addition there. So yeah, it's very direct. It stops the idea of yeah, we don't have to repeat the same information over and over again, and it represents an idea. Yeah, absolutely. It makes it stand out really, and again, it's eye catching and it gives very quick information there. So I'm going to go through these other three. So we've got the idea of an index. That is to allow us to locate specific information very quickly. Our website headings, well, they tell us what the main theme of the website or the article is about. It's if I look and it says a study into traffic congestion on the M25, I'm going to go, I'm all right. I'm going to read something else. Links as well. So this is very similar. You might find links on a sidebar, but they also might just be like a hyperlink in the actual text or a hyperlink just on the website. And these allow, again, readers to navigate around the pages. Okay, so you can obviously submit your answers here with just A, B, C, or D. But why are diagrams and tables used in some texts? What do we think? Okay, brilliant stuff. So yeah, so out of these, then yeah, I would agree with you two there. Absolutely fine. So Monica and Anna, great stuff again. So the answer here is going to be C. Diagrams and tables, they clarify difficult or complex information. So again, a table, they can put all those numbers together for us a lot easier to see. Again, although, they do look nice, they do kind of stand out a little bit. That's not their main reason. Show us where to find information. Not really. They give us the information. They sometimes they do provide a bit of color and they do look nice, but again, that's not why they're there. So why could pie charts be useful then? And again, it's just highlighting here that the main information that I gave about them. Brilliant stuff, guys. Yeah. So again, if you are watching this recording, probably best to pause each time I'm actually going through these. But yeah, absolutely, guys. So with this one, it will be to show percentages. So pie charts, they don't always show percentages. Sometimes they obviously just show like a fraction of an amount, but they can show percentages and they can show this very easily, which is a good advantage of them. It's a good, easy way to kind of divide up data or look at parts of a whole as well. Okay, so why are subheadings useful? Okay, great stuff there. And peace, yeah, absolutely brilliant as well. Yeah, I'm like, it was one or two where it was kind of went, oh yeah, B definitely. I kind of went, and it was actually I kind of do all of it. So yeah, with subheadings, they do really kind of help out with all of these. They do kind of clarify a text. They do divide the text into sections. Although they do all three, I think we'd agree that the most important though is probably A here. And what they do is they help us to find the information quickly. If I can see where these subheadings are, like if I know that I'm reading information about renting a room, if I've got subheadings of different rooms, like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, etc., I can skim through quickly and go, 3 bedroom, that's what I'm looking for. So it helps me to navigate a bit quicker there. So where wouldn't we see the use of bullet points? In which of these kind of formats of writing would we not expect to see bullet points? Monica, yeah, absolutely brilliant. And just give it a minute and see what other people think as well there. Anna, that's a really good point actually. But yeah, you are correct though. So, so in regards to this, then, where wouldn't we see bullet points? It's more likely we're not going to see them in a Harry Potter book. You know, in a cake recipe, yes, we're going to see that kind of broken down, very quick, sharp information. A women's health leaflet, absolutely, yeah, we'll probably see them there. And in the text describing how to do a science experiment, again, as we've seen, there'll probably be some bullet points there of the equipment that you will need. In an actual formal kind of book where there is a lot of language features used and kind of you want the text to flow and really kind of captivate and kind of bring the reader into it, you're not going to have this kind of broken down kind of system of obviously like very disjointed kind of information. Although saying that though, and it was a really good point that Anna made there might actually be some bullet points in Harry Potter. You know what I mean? Because they do look at you know, different recipes and things like that. So, but it's less likely that you will see this in an academic or in a formal published book. Okay, we've already looked at this one, so I'm going to skip over this one, but this is the idea of, you know, why do tabs help us when we visit a website? And again, for this, they helped us to navigate the site. We looked at this at the beginning there. Okay, so if I was looking for an index in a book, where would I most likely find it? Okay, yeah, brilliant stuff there. Yeah, so Peace, Anna, Monica, all absolutely spot on. Yeah, if I'm looking for an index, it's always going to be at the back of the book there, and it's going to give me references to specific information. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. So just a bit of idea on the context of indexes. And so let's say if you saw this index in a book, where would you find the recipe or recipes for chicken Rogan Josh? Monica, well played, well played. Yeah, Anna, absolutely spot on as well there. Oh, sorry, Anna, for your one, it should be should be 4 pages in total. Sorry. So if I just go into this one a little bit, so the idea here then, so when it says here, so Chicken Rogan Josh, it's on page 48, then it's on page 177, and we've got our hyphen, which means continued until 179. So it will actually be on pages 48, 177, 178, and 179. Again, if there was a comma in there, then it would mean page 48, 177, and 179. So just little things to be aware of there. So the hyphen there means to like continued. We've already kind of spoken about this one a little bit. So what might V on a venue mean? On a menu? It would tend to be, if it was on a menu, we'd tend to think, yeah, Monica, spot on. We tend to think of like a vegetarian item. Although, to be honest, they could put it as very hot. It could mean value or variable. There's no kind of set way for it. But in general, we would expect it to normally mean vegetarian. But we might want to actually kind of check the reference or check the key as well. So there will be a key for this. So V means vegetarian or whatever it might be. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, Annie. Yeah, if it is hot, you tend to have like a little picture of a chili. So if you're like me and you are an avid fan of curry, I'm always sat there counting the chilies. I'm like, well, this one's only got 4. I don't think that's going to give me that burning sensation that I actually so desire. Okay, so why might why might a text have bold or italicized words? Yeah, so this one is an interesting one because, and again, both the answers that have come in so far, it's between A and D at this point. Obviously, and again, one really good thing with our reading course or with our reading exam is that a lot of the questions on there are multiple choice. So the actual mock exam that you guys have already done in your initial exam, the initial assessment, that is all of those questions have been taken straight from an exam. They are the exact same. I haven't modified them or changed them in any way. So it just shows that a lot of the questions are actually multiple choice. So we can use process of elimination. This one in itself is a little bit difficult because really, if you have got bold or italicized words, yeah, the main reason that they're used is to grab your attention straight away. But they do also kind of highlight the importance of words as well. But it's not as much so as grabbing your attention would be. Okay, so what we need to have a look at then is, well, what do these types of questions look like in the exam? So if you are doing a level 1 exam, this is the type of question that you will see. And again, the structure of these questions is always the same. It's just obviously you've been given a different text to work with. So here we can see, so according to text A, what is the name of the scariest roller coaster in the world? We can then look in there, we can find it and go, oh, it's called, I know, Devil's Revenge or whatever it might be. Which organizational feature helped you find this? It might be that the information is in a little text bubble or a shout out. So it might be, a little quotation mark there, like someone talking. It might be in, again, just a standalone little text box there, a little bit of extra information. It might be in the caption to a picture. Whichever organizational feature it might be, we're going to have to then list that. So this is what your questions will look like if you are a level 1 learner. The other type of question that you might get in regards to organizational features is, like I mentioned, in regards to inferred meaning in a picture. So you'll see a question like this. So what 2 things do the 2 photographs in text B tell you about the Great River theme park? So again, what you're looking for here, and again, do please bear in mind that some of the questions say 2 points, some of them say 1. A lot of people drop marks by just ticking 1 box. But again, we would then look at the pictures and then we could then work out, okay, well, what is the inferred meaning here? Does it kind of give me this information? Does it give me this information here as well? I'm just going to make a very quick note there. That I've just realised that obviously with this in the future, I'm actually going to modify the PowerPoint a little bit. I can actually add the 2 pictures on there, and we can actually talk through that as an example, which can actually be quite good fun. Yeah, Anna, that's a really, really good point. So, like what Anna's just kind of pointing out there is in regards to why would we put things in bold? Going back to our last question, with the answer for A, it was to give attention or to highlight the importance, which it is doing. Question D was obviously saying to grab your attention. Like we said, technically it is doing both there. It is grabbing your attention because it stands out because it's in bold, and it is also highlighting the importance. So really, either of them are absolutely fine. The question that we looked at previously, it is just most of the time in if you were to take all of the different range of concepts of where you're going to use bold writing, pretty well all of the time it will be used to grab attention. Most of the time it will be used to highlight importance. So, technically the answer D would be better, but D or A will be absolutely fine there. So I hope that's all right there, Anna. So another type of question that will always pop up for level 1 learners is this one here, which is text B, or it could be text A or text C, whichever one it might be, uses subheadings. Give the subheadings of the section that tells you about things you can do if you like animals. So what you'll do is look over the information, and it might say, how can you help? Question mark. When you then read that kind of bit of information, you go, yeah, this is the bit that talks about, the things that you can do if you like animals. So then you just write the title in there. The same here, give the subheading of the section that tells you about how safe the park is. When you look over it, it might be like, new attractions, improved safety. Do you love animals? It might have all these different subheadings. You'll just write the subheading that you want in there. Okay. So, okay, what does this look like then if you are a level 2 learner? So for level 2 learners, this question will always pop up, and it's a very, very nice one. We do like it. So what you'll be given is, it's normally from text A as well. It does tend to be literally in the same place every time. It tends to be, I think, question 2 or question 3, and it will always pop up. So you've been asked to add subheadings for each paragraph in text A. Number each subheading from 1 to 5 to show its best match in the paragraphs. 2 have been done for you. So what you will have actually in the exam is like maybe it tends to be the first text. It doesn't have to be though. But the text that you read will say, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, 4, and 5. All you have to do is read each paragraph. So again, number 1 and number 4 have been done for us. We just have to read each paragraph and then see which one best relates to them. So if I read the second paragraph, and it's talking about the differences that occur during according to age, then I'm going to go, okay, well, that's number 2 then. For getting one of these right, you will get 1 mark. For getting all of them right, you will get 2 marks. So nice and straightforward, really nice question. Okay, so what we're going to do now then, quickly, just to end the session off then, is we're going to have a look at a piece of text. And I want you to just list how many organizational features you can spot. So again, pop the answers over to me and we can go through them in just a second. So here is a text. This is taken from a level 1 exam. And what I want to know is, what are the organizational features? I can see 3 of them, and I believe that is all of them. Okay, yeah, so some good ideas there then. So Anna, yeah, that's okay there. So yeah, be careful though, because Okay, so looking at this then, what we would have is we've definitely got a title. We've definitely got the picture. And then what we've got here is a text box as well. So if we were asked, what is this, like we saw this question earlier, what is the scariest or fastest roller coaster in the world? It is Formula Rossi. What information or what gave this to us? It is a text box. Yeah, a text box would be ideal. It could be, if it was in like a little, sometimes they draw the little speech bubbles. So it might look like this, and then have a little like quotation like this or something. So again, here you could say like a text bubble, a call out, a speech bubble, anything like that will be fine. But again, it gives the idea that someone is saying something. So these are the only three then. So in here, there aren't any subheadings. And again, do be aware that the use of paragraphs is not an organizational feature. It seems strange because, and it's one of those ones that kind of falls quite closely in there. So it's good that we can highlight this now. Although technically, I can see why you'd think it because it's the organization of the page. So splitting it into paragraphs is something that's organizing it. However, with paragraphs, the main reason we use them is when we start a new topic or a new idea. So we use it to break up the text to allow it to be easier to read. So it is actually more of a language feature. In regards to it, I just wouldn't reference paragraphs when you actually write your piece because it doesn't really fall into a language feature and it doesn't really fall into an organizational feature. There are a lot more kind of clear-cut ones that are there. So again, title, picture, text box. Stick with them. They're definitely going to be right. No need to kind of wander into the grey areas there. Okay, so now we've got the Great River Theme Park then. So what organizational features can we see here? Yeah, Monica, absolutely brilliant. I'd agree with all of them. Anna, brilliant. Yeah, that would be. I'd agree with that. I believe there would be 4 there. And I think yeah, so you've got all of them there. Peace, yeah, absolutely brilliant as well. And again, we don't always have to spot all of these, but just knowing what a few of them are will really, really help there. So with this one, then what we might have, obviously, we've got our title. Great River Theme Park. We've got our subheadings, so frills and spills, fur and feathers, tots and teenies, etc. And we've got our pictures. What you could also have though is again the text or the organizational text feature, which is a bold writing has been used. It is also a bold and it's in a different font. So you can mention these most of the time though. I mean, these are the main ones here. Which are easiest to represent. When we tend to see subheadings and titles, they do tend to use a different font as well. Yeah, Anna, absolutely brilliant. So it's a so the use of like bold there or a different font. It is a text feature, but that in itself is an organizational feature. So out of our organizational features, we have lots of different ones. Text features are one of them. Okay, brilliant. So that is going to be it for this session. So what we have looked at is what organizational features are. And we've looked at the different types of them. So we've looked at a pretty extensive list at the beginning. We've then gone through and explained a little bit about all of these, why certain ones of them are used, why they are useful. And we've also kind of looked at what these look like in the exam. So the main thing is in our exam, now you know the types of questions that you're going to be asked, and that structure of those questions is always the same. It doesn't vary. So that is what we need to know. It's good to know it because obviously there's very few, or that they never really ask, why would you use a picture? Why would you do this? They don't ask that. They just ask, what is it that has given you this information? Very nice and straightforward of them. So in regards to homework then, so if you are viewing this recording, what I would recommend now is to move and have a go at the unit assessment, which is obviously at the bottom of the Google Classroom. And if you want to practice more, then there are practice worksheets available there as well. So I'm going to stop the recording there, and hopefully this video has been useful.